you feel like finding all the dental floss in every medicine cabinet in your house and in your neighbor's house and in your grandma's house, and then tying said dental floss around the neck of your math textbook and then throwing it off the tallest building in your city? Well, isn't that amazing? Well, we can help you avoid tiring yourself out doing all that by watching this video from Fort Bend Tutoring and Mr. Whitt.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Whitt with Fort Bend Tutoring, and today's tutorial is going to be about circles. Graphing circles using the center radius form. That's right, we'll be taking a look at different examples and graphing circles together. The first thing you need to know is that anytime you're dealing with the equation of a circle, and it may be in standard form or center radius form, you need to know that it's the same thing. Yeah, standard form of a circle and center radius form of a circle is the exact same equation. It's this one right here. Yeah, the quantity of x minus h squared plus the quantity of y minus k squared equals to r squared, where your center is hk and your radius is r. Yeah, this is standard form. Okay, this is center radius form. Right, it's the exact same thing. So let's look at some examples. Here we have problem number 1. And this is the center radius form for the equation of a circle. And you could expand this to show that this could be written as the quantity of x minus 0 squared plus the quantity of y minus 0 squared, which equals to 16. This lets me know that my center, or my hk as an ordered pair, is going to be 0, 0. Yeah, whatever the values are inside of the parentheses, you just take the opposite value of that. And 0 is not negative, nor is it positive, so you'll just use 0, 0 for your center. And you'll also need to know what the radius is. The radius is always going to be the square root of your constant on the right side of the equal sign there. So we're taking the square root of 16, which gives you a result of 4. Now that you have these two pieces of information, now that you have the center of the circle and the radius, this is what you do to graph it. You want to begin by plotting your center. Our center here is going to be 0, 0. So that's the origin, right? So we'll have a point right there on the graph. Then we know that our radius is 4. So what you'll do is you'll come up with 4 points by going up 4 from the center, down 4 from the center, to the left 4, and then to the right 4 to come up with 4 points that will lie on the circle. So that's exactly what I'll do now. I'll go up 4 from the center, and I'll have a point at 0, 4. Then I'll go down 4 from the center. I'll have a point at 0, negative 4. I'll then go to the left from the center, and I'll have a point at negative 4, 0. And then I'll go to the right of the center, and I'll have a point at 4, 0. Now that I've done that, I'll draw a circle through these 4 points I just plotted. So here is my circle. There it is. That's the circle of the graph for the equation x squared plus y squared equals 16. That's it. Let's move on to problem number 2. All right. For problem number 2, we have the equation in center radius form. It is the quantity of x minus 2 squared plus y squared equals 4. If I were to rewrite this, it would be the quantity of x minus 2 squared plus the quantity of y minus 0 squared equals 4. Now that I have it in this expanded form, I can show that my hk, aka the ordered pair for the center, is going to be the opposite value of that negative 2 inside the parentheses. So I'll have a positive 2, and it'll be 0 for the y value, that k value of my center. Just like that. Then the radius, just take the square root of the 4. Yeah, that's what you'll be doing. So the square root of 4 is what? Absolutely, it's 2. You're pretty good with this. Not bad. So go ahead and plot your center next. Okay, so let's get our graph up here. We're going to get our graph up here. All right, there we go. There we go. Put it in view. Put it in view. You're going to have a point. Your center is going to be at 2, 0. So let's go 2 places from the right of the origin, and then we have our point at 2, 0. From this point, we want to go up 2 places, down 2 places, to the left 2 places, and to the right 2 places of your center. That's what you want to do. So going up to from the center, I have a point at 2, 2. I then go 2 places down from the center, and that's going to give me a point at 2, negative 2. I'll then go to the left 2 places of my center, and that gives me a point at 0, 0. And then I go 2 places from the center to the right, and I have a point at 4, 0. Remember that our radius is 2 units, and that's why from the center we go in each direction 2 places from that center. And the easiest one for you to plot as a human being is just to plot the points directly above, below, to the left, and the right of the center for accuracy. Let's go ahead and draw a circle. So I have a circle right here. There we have it. That's it. That's the graph of the circle. And that's problem number 2. Moving on to our next problem. All right. Here we have it. Problem number 3. Your equation is the quantity of x minus 3 squared plus the quantity of y minus 5 squared equals 9. What is the center of this equation? What did you say? What was that? Exactly. So your HK, the ordered pair for the center, is going to be the opposite value that you see inside of the first set of parentheses. So I don't need the negative 3. I need a positive 3. And then the opposite value of negative 5, what is that? What's the opposite of negative 5? Exactly. It's 5. So there's your center. 3, 5. And then for the radius, what are you going to do now? That's correct. You're going to take the square root of 9. And the square root of 9 is what? Yeah, it's 3, because 3 times 3 is 9. Yeah, there you go. That's the center and your radius. So what you want to do next is plot the center. The center's at 3, 5. So let's go ahead and look at this graph here. All right. So we have a center at 3, 5. So I move 3 places to the right of the origin. 1, 2, 3, and then I go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I have a point right there. Because my radius is 3, I'll be plotting 4 points on my graph that are going to be 3 places from the center. That's right, directly above, below, to the left, and the right of my center. So I'm going to move up 3 places, 1, 2, 3. So I have a point here at 3, 8. I'm going to move down from my center, 1, 2, 3. So I have a point here at 3, 2. And then I'll be moving to the left of the center, 1, 2, 3. So I have a point at 0, 5. And then from my center, I'll be moving to the right 3 places, 1, 2, 3, and I now have a point at 6, 5. All right, let's go ahead and plot our circle by moving through the 4 points that are located around my center. So here we have our circle, and that's it. There you go. There's a graph of our circle right there. We have a center at 3, 5, and because we have a radius of 3, we have an infinite number of points that are all 3 places from the center. Done. That's it. That was problem number 3. Moving on. In problem number 4, we have the quantity of x plus 1 squared plus the quantity of y minus 3 squared, which equals 25. So we're going to start out by finding out what our center is. What is our center? What's that HK? So remember, we're going to always take the opposite value of what you see inside the parentheses there. So since I have a positive 1 in that first set of parentheses with that x variable, I need a negative 1. And what value do I need from that second set of parentheses? What am I taking out of that? Yeah, I'm taking out a positive 3. You always take the opposite sign of the values inside of the parentheses there, because what you are shown is negative h and negative k, so you need to find the opposite of those values. All right, so do it. There you go. Now, what's the radius? The radius is always the square root of that value right there. The value on the right side of the equal sign, the number 25, in other words. What's the square root of 25? Exactly. It's 5. You're beyond smart. You're way too smart. So anyway, let's go ahead and plot this. All right, we start with the center, and our center for this problem is negative 1, 3. So plotting our center, I'm going to start at the origin. I'm going to move 1 place to the left and then up 3. There you go. We have our point in the second quadrant located at negative 1, 3. That is the center of this circle. Then we know that our points that lie on the circle are all 5 places away from the center. So that means that my first point, I'm going to go up 5 places from my center. So I'll be moving up 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to place a point at -1, 8. Then I'll be moving 5 places down. So I'll move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have a point at -1, -2. And then from my center, I'll be moving 5 places to the left. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places from the left of the center to have a point at -6, 3. And then moving 5 places to the right of the center, I have a point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So that point is located at 4, 3. And that's a really nice point right there, don't you think? Yeah, let's just stare at that for a second. I drew a nice point right there. I'm excited about that. All right, so let's go ahead and draw our circle. All right, so our circle is going to be just like that. There you go. That's it. That is the graph of the circle. Done and done. For our equation, the quantity of x plus 1 squared plus the quantity of y minus 3 squared, which equals 25. And now we're moving on. Problem number 5, ladies and gentlemen. Here we need to first find where the center is, all right? And since we already have it in center radius form, our center, that HK, it's going to be the opposite of 4, which is -4. We'll need the opposite of positive 2, which is -2. Yep. And then the square root of 1 will define our radius. So the square root of 1 is, there you go. Yeah, it's 1. Yeah, I know you knew that. Okay, let's get to plotting. So our center is at -4, -2. So plotting our center, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, that's -4, and then going down to 1, 2, we have a point right here at -4, -2. I know that because my radius is 1, the points that lie on the circle are going to be 1 unit from our center in every direction. So I'll be plotting 4 of those infinite number of points by going up 1 and plotting a point, going down 1, plotting a point, going to the left of the center, 1, plotting a point, and going to the right of the center and plotting a point there. Now to graph the circle. Just like that. There you go. There's a graph of my circle. That's it. That was problem number 5. Let's move on. In problem number 6, we have a center that is located at 0, 0 with a point 3, 4. What we don't know is the radius. So we need to find out what the radius is. There's a couple of ways to do this, all right? So one way that we'll do it is we'll use the Pythagorean theorem. How about that? All right, so let's start by plotting the point 0, 0. All right, we'll plot the origin first, okay? I'll have it right there. Okay, that's the center. I know the point 3, 4 lies on the circle, so I'm going to go ahead and plot that. So 1, 2, 3, and then up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so this point actually lies on the circle, but what I don't know is the radius of the circle. So we can find that out using the Pythagorean theorem. So just imagine here that we have a right triangle. All right, there we go. All right, between those 2 points. Using the fact that we moved 3 places to the right of the origin and then up 4 places to get to that second point, we have 2 legs of our right triangle. Knowing that the Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals to c squared, we can figure out our length of our hypotenuse, aka the radius. So plugging in our values for the legs that we have, we'll have 3 squared plus 4 squared equals to c squared. Well, 3 times 3, or in other words 3 squared is 9, and 4 squared is what? Yeah, exactly, it's 16. And that's going to equal to c squared. Adding 9 and 16 together, you'll get what number? Exactly. You'll get 25. Yeah. And then taking the square root of 25, all right, and the square root of c squared, we'll find out what the radius is. And the square root of 25 is 5. All right. So there you have it. Our c value is 5, which tells me that the radius is 5. All right. There you go. So knowing that the radius is 5, I can now plot 4 points that are 5 places away from my center, which is the origin. Okay, so that means I'll be going up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have a point at 0, 5. I go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, then I go to the left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and then to the right 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, just like that. So now we end up in this problem with 5 points that are on our circle. There you go. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points that are lying on the circle. So drawing it out, I'll have this circle right here. Boom. And there we have it. There's your graph of your circle, just like that. That's problem number 6. Let's move on. All right. There are times, ladies and gentlemen, that you may be presented with the equation of a circle in general form. And the general form can be represented by this equation where A and B are equal to one another and they don't equal to 0, and your C coefficient does equal to 0. All right? So when presented with an equation that looks similar to this, you most likely will need to convert this into center radius form in order to graph it. So that's what this next problem is going to ask us to do. All right, so in problem number 7, we're given x squared plus y squared minus 10x minus 2y equals -1. This equation is not currently in center radius form, so we'll need to convert it. Now, the process I'll be using in problem number 7, I have an additional video that'll show you that, and it is called Converting General Form to Center Radius Form of a Circle, and you'll find a link right here. All right, there you go. So check that video out if you need to see more examples like number 7. So our first step here is to group our x's and y's together. So let's do just that. So I'll rewrite this as x squared minus 10x plus y squared minus 2y equals -1. I know this will be an equation of a circle because the coefficient on my x squared term and my y squared term are equal to one another. In this case, they're both 1. And that value of 1 does not equal to 0, so we're good to go. From here, we'll be completing the square. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my framework to do just that. That means I'll be rewriting the equation as x squared minus 10x blank plus y squared minus 2y blank equals to -1 blank blank, just like that. So to complete the square, I'll be taking half of my middle term's coefficient, that -10, and so half of -10 gives me what value? Exactly, it gives me -5. I now want to square that -5. So -5 squared, meaning -5 times -5, that gives me +25. And I'm going to add that to both sides of my equal sign here. All right, so whatever you do to the left side, of course, you need to do to the right side. So since I'm adding 25 to the left side of the equal sign, I need to add 25 to the right side of the equal sign. Now we'll be completing the square on our y terms. All right, so that means I'll be taking half of -2, and half of -2 is -1, right? And go ahead and square that, and -1 squared gives me a +1, just like that. Exactly. Now, because we've gone ahead and completed the square, we can factor these perfect square trinomials. And we'll do that by using the variable in whatever half of that middle term's coefficient was. So because half of -10 was -5, I'll be including that in my parentheses when I factor. So it becomes x minus 5 squared plus y minus 1 squared. Remember, because the -1 was half of the -2 coefficient. And this equals the sum of -1, +25, and +1. Well, that just gives you 25. Yeah, just like that. So now we have our equation in center radius form, aka standard form. All right. So what's the center of this equation? Well, your HK, in this case, is going to be the opposite of -5, which is 5, and the opposite of -1, which is +1. So the center is 5, 1. You did it. You found the center of this equation. Now, go ahead and show off and let me know what the radius is. What's that you say? You said cinco. Well, that's Spanish, and it means 5. Exactly. The square root of 25 is 5. You are awesome. Oh my God. So there you go. There you go. There you go. We now know that our center is going to be 5, 1, and our radius is 5. So let's get to plotting. All right. Let's go to our graph. So we know that we have a center at 5, 1. So let's go ahead and plot that. So we'll be moving from the origin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right, and then up 1 to give me a point at 5, 1. All right. And all points that lie on this circle will be 5 places from our center. So from this center, I'm going to go up 5 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have a point at 5, 6. Then I'm going to move 5 places down from the center, so I'll have a point at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have a point at 5, negative 4, and then 5 places to the left of our center, I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means I have a point at 0, 1. That's a pretty good point right there. Okay, and then from the center we're going to move 5 places to the right of the center. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a point at 10, 1. So now that I have all 4 points plotted, let's go ahead and graph this. So starting out, going through all 4 points, we now have our circle with a center at 5, 1 with a radius of 5. And this, ladies and gentlemen, will complete problem number 7. That's the answer. That's the graph. All right. So don't forget to check out the series on circles that we have for you, including this video. We also have a video that focuses on finding the center and the radius from equations. So check that out as well. I'll put a link right here. Okay. And as always, please rate, comment, and subscribe. This is Mr. Whitt with Fort Bend Tutoring. Peace.
Thanks for watching. We feel great knowing that you got some help and you're safe and sound. Now, if you'd be so kind as to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fort Bend Tutoring, and like us on Facebook, we'd be much obliged.